Um, so sorry everyone who is listening to this. We are again experiencing technical difficulties as my PC continues to constantly crash. I have learned what I need to replace. I'm going to be ordering it very soon, so hopefully everything will be fixed shortly.
Yeah, that is very good news. That you have a good friend who's helping you fix the computer.
Right,
So
yes.
all will be well.
Yeah, it's just going to take a matter of time.
Hmm.
And yeah. Other than that, man, how was your week? Did it get any better than last week, I hope?
Yeah, it did. It is funny though because I do want to kind of not critique. I do want to complain a little bit more regarding the garage that I went to. So like before I moved, I always had this like it's more of like a privately owned like garage, kind of like a mom and pop garage, and they were always great. I think always thought that they were very fair, but the garage I went to is a Goodyear, and I have to admit, I'm not really happy with. I shouldn't say it's not the service that I'm unhappy with. It's the lack thereof, because not only was the price much higher than I thought it was going to be, but apparently they did not include the oil change. They didn't charge me
Oh
for it.
my god.
Well, because I asked them for an oil change. Now they did say, "Oh well, we checked your oil. It's about 45% still good, so there is no need for it." And I said, "Okay, fair enough." Even though I asked for it, but whatever. Then when I started driving home, I realized my steering wasn't properly aligned. Like the steering wheel was like, at like the 10 o'clock position to go straight, you know. And so I immediately pulled back
Hmm.
around and I said, "Hey guys, like I remember you said that there was a I've requested that you do the alignment check because after I had that flat tire, my steering was a little bit off, and right now my steering is at 10 o'clock and it's going straight, like it's not aligned. Did you guys do this?" And the person at the desk did check and say, "Oh my gosh, no, we didn't check it." Like so, I was like, okay, well at least your paperwork did prove that yeah, you guys didn't do it. So I had to come back a different day to get it done, and this was a Wednesday. So I said, okay, look, I want to come in Saturday morning when you guys open up, and then we'll get this taken care of. So they scheduled me for the appointment, and this was a free alignment check that they mentioned. So even on the invoices, it said it was free, right?
Right?
So I come in Saturday morning, drop it off, and I say, "Hi, I'm here to drop my car off. I spoke to you guys on Wednesday. I have an appointment at 8 a.m. Here's the Camaro. I need you guys to check the alignment." And the guy's like, "Sure."
Okay.
And he pulls out a piece of paper and says, "Okay, so here's our package. It's like $175, and we can do this, or you can pay a little bit more and get this." And I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I thought the alignment check was free." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, I brought the invoice." I'm like, "We see on the invoice, this is what you guys forgot to do, and this is why I'm here for the free alignment check for my car because the steering wheel's not straight." And he says,
Right?
and he's like, "Well, yeah, we do that for free." And I'm like, "Okay, well then, what's the 175 you're talking about, or whatever that you're telling me about?" And he's like, "Oh, well, yeah, we will check the alignment for free. We will we'll get a reading and determine how off the alignment is, and then they can do the work to straighten it out, and that costs money."
Ah.
And I was just thinking to myself, like that's. I didn't want to yell at the guy because I think he's just doing his job, but I did. I honestly wanted to say, like, dude, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what's the point of checking? It's like, yes, sir, you are missing four wheels. Oh, you want them? You want them replaced? Well, then they're gonna charge you. Like I understand that. Yeah, like it would make sense. Hey, can you please align my car? The steering alignment, sure, it costs money. I get it. But for one thing, $175 just for that is ridiculous. Plus, why would you say a free alignment check? That's so stupid.
Right.
So, needless to say, I wasn't very happy, and I just told them that I will be getting no further work done on my car at this location, and I left. So I definitely started off my weekend on a bit of a bummer, but It's okay. I'm all happy now. I'm not too worried.
That's good.
Yeah. And work was busy, but it was the good kind of busy. I got a lot done.
Also, how stupid and terrible that was.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
I said how stupid and terrible that was. Like that whole alignment check or whatever.
Yeah, it was just sorry, it was just absolutely annoying. Like, because again, it's like I wanted to yell at the guy at the counter, but I know I can't because it's not his fault. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
But I felt that it was. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, but anyway, I'm just venting at this point.
Right.
However, my weekend was very good. Got to relax. I got some videos done. As I mentioned, got some recording done for our Link's Awakening, our Minish Cap Let's Play. So it's been fun.
I saw you popped open some of the what are they called? The
PSA slabs, yeah.
The PSAs, yes, yeah, the rating.
Oh yeah.
Collector, yeah.
Yes, on my other channel, where on the Collector's Vault channel, I actually did a little fun video where I was going to crack open some of my PSA graded cards, and it was interesting. I've done it before, but I wanted to do it because these are some cards that I really felt were misgraded, and I will be sending them back in my next submission. So yeah, I thought I would just record it and kind of show people how to crack them open. So it was pretty fun.
Cool. I just thought it seemed cool. I didn't get to watch it yet, but I like seeing the aftermath of you're like, oh, I had to use a sledgehammer.
Well, that was like a joke. I didn't actually use a sledgehammer. That was just a bit.
Well, now you spoiled it for everyone.
Well, don't worry. I can always just delete that part of the audio because I'm recording today. So.
Also, you could just be lying. Who knows?
It's true. I actually use
the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe use a blowtorch. I don't.
Yeah. Or just maybe I use my own teeth because I'm just that much.
Stick it in the microwave. Your dog bites it open.
Yeah. Actually, I was a little worried that he would. Oh, actually, for a bit of funniness, I was going to give him one of the PSA slabs and let him bite it. But I'm thinking, you know what? With my luck, he'll have enough he'll have enough force in his jaw and crack through it and destroy the card. So.
Right. That's funny.
Didn't want to take that chance.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so that was a fun little video.
Anything else?
Well, unfortunately, non-video game related. I have been going through more of my Pokemon cards because, if any of you are fans of mine in particular, I've been talking a lot about Pokemon and how much it's been hyped up recently. So I went through a lot of my bulk and started pulling out basically all of my Charmanders, my Squirtles, and my Bulbasaurs, because even though they're only like the cheaper common cards, even those cards are fetching fairly high prices compared to what they used to be. Like, I would go to card shops, and just go to their big bulk bin and pick out all of, all the starters, like Squirtles, Bulbasaurs, Charmanders, Pikachus. I'd pick them all out and buy them for anywhere between 10 to 25 cents a card. But now those cards are if they're in near mint condition, they can go for up to $10 plus, maybe even $20.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. But yeah, so I did some sorting, and that's pretty much been my week. Cause this has been a very busy week too, even work wise. I've been getting home kind of late, so I do, and also because of that.
Oh, okay.
And because of that, I do want to apologize to all of our listeners. We have last week's episode ready for upload, but it's my fault. I did not upload it to YouTube, nor did I upload it to Podbean. I do apologize. But don't worry, we will upload it very soon, and it'll be available for all of your listening pleasures. And then we'll do
Hooray!
And then we'll do our best to get this week's episode uploaded for you guys as well.
Yeah.
So,
sounds like a plan.
Yeah. But that's all I have to say.
All right. You want to kick the podcast off?
You mean I get to do it? Oh, joy. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Level With Me podcast, episode 70, I believe.
That's correct,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, thank goodness I can count correctly. Today, I will be your host. My name is Mike from the Collector's Vault, and I am joined with the best co-host ever, the founder of Level With Me podcast, Game Bro Corey, aka Corey. How you doing, Corey?
Hey Mike, I'm doing good, and welcome back everyone to this second week of mishaps station that I normally do, right, which is just my desk or whatever. And yeah, I hope this is going to go better the second time until this can be resolved. Sorry, I'm still having PC issues. But yes, I guess we're game news now.
Sure. Unfortunately, again, because I am not professional, I don't have the articles available. Corey's usually the one who has them. Corey, you wouldn't happen to have these available for reading, would you?
Unfortunately, I don't, but I can kind of talk about a few that I saw, and maybe you can look them up and chime in with some more facts about them.
Sure, that's a good idea.
Yeah, just things off my memory. So something I thought was kind of interesting, but like earlier this week, is Tom Holland or someone uploaded a picture of Tom Holland dressed up in a Uncharted movie. I guess that's finally happening. I don't know if we covered that, or maybe I covered it before on Level With Me. But yeah, like Tom Holland is going to be Nathan Drake in an Uncharted movie. And the pictures are surfacing, and yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah,
He does look like Nate.
Yeah,
he
it's
does
funny.
look like Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have a. Let me see if I can get like a quick article for us to look at. Oh wait, maybe you can't do it because you're on your phone. But anyway,
I can look it up, but yeah.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So I actually did not hear about this. If we did talk about this, forgive me. I don't quite remember.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah,
However,
don't worry about it.
That's pretty cool. I think he does. Yeah, I think he can pull off the Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah, he looks pretty well, like pretty accurate to the first game.
Yeah, in fact, it's actually kind of funny because, like, looking at this one picture of him, he has like a smirk on his face, and it kind of just, I don't know, it kind of makes it look like he's older almost. Like, because Tom Holland definitely looked like a teenager, and he fit the Spider-Man appearance pretty well. But looking at this, he definitely looks more like, I don't know, he has like a stronger jawline, I guess, and it kind of makes him look like he's like as if like he aged 10 years. And
yeah,
I guess he probably
I can
did
kind of see that.
Yeah, maybe he did age 10 years since the very first movie he was in. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just being silly. But anyway, that's pretty cool. I'm not I don't want to say I'm not a fan. I just
so yeah, that's cool. Oh,
sorry, I lost you there.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, I was just gonna say like yeah, I'm definitely not a. It's not that I'm not a fan. I just never really played the Uncharted games, but I heard very good things about them.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same here. Like I own them. They're in the backlog of games I'd like to play, but yeah, I never played any of them. I think I would like them if I'd play them.
But I think it's
so
cool.
I'm trying to. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's funny because when it comes to video game adaptations for movies, I'm always a little skeptical. So, like trying to.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, they might just have to put like a little simplified Tomb Raider like story. Just to. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, something like Uncharted, I'm sure they could make multiple movies out of, but I don't know. It's definitely interesting to say at the very least.
I agree, yeah. Another news story that I wanted to cover here is, have you ever heard of the game My Time at Porsche?
No. I'm going to look it up right now.
It was kind of like a survival mining type game, almost like Minecraft, where you would like collect a bunch of resources and you could like build different pieces of house and or building, excuse me, and like you could change your outfit and build like gear. And I heard it was pretty well received, and it has a really cool like art style. But I wanted to shout out that they're making a sequel,
Oh, that's awesome.
and yeah, I have the name of it here. It's My Time at Sandrock, and I've never played the original game, but I just thought that first one looked pretty cool. So I think it's pretty neat that it's getting a sequel, and also you can play. This is coming out on the Switch, and the original one is also out on the Switch. But yeah,
That's pretty neat. To be fair,
yeah, I've heard good things. I think this looks cool.
yeah, it's funny because like it seems like one of those games that I would enjoy, like just one of those kind of like not like a collectathon game, but like one of those resource gathering and like custom building games. Like it always seems like they'd be right up my alley, but I don't know. I definitely don't play as much as I would like to of those types of games.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, they are pretty fun, in my opinion. I like the traversal aspect, and usually there's a lot of exploration to them, going all around the world, seeing what you can find. That's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite things.
Yeah. So sorry, Corey. Side note: I don't know why I'm cutting out because I'm at full bars, but for some reason we're cutting out sometimes. It's strange. And right there, it just cut out again. What the hell?
Yeah, I know. I didn't get like any of that.
No,
You're
no.
like, this is why I'm cutting out.
I'm
Oh, okay, fascinating.
no, no, I was saying like I'm at full bars. Like I don't know why. Like, so I have like a strong internet connection, yet I'm cutting in and out. It's really frustrating.
Yep.
Anyway,
Uh,
we'll make the most of it.
anyway, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So there was also, I'm trying to remember all the different news stories that I had pulled up. I was thinking of like the other Nintendo news. We always love to talk about Nintendo stuff on the Level With Me podcast here.
Oh,
Remember that,
absolutely.
folks. And there's that news story where they're decreasing the price of single Joy-Cons permanently. So I think it went down $10. Like single Joy-Cons used to be $49.99 and are now going to be $39.99 normally.
Yeah, that's actually really good because those are always, in my opinion, a little bit overpriced. I mean,
I
no, I'm sorry, Corey. Go ahead.
also think this is Nintendo's a lot of the Joy-Con drift issues,
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I agree.
I do agree with you. Like, yeah, they were very overpriced to begin with. But yeah, I think this is just going to help out a lot of people, especially because there's a bunch of families who their like son or daughter accidentally like dropped it or got some sort of like sticky stuff on the one Joy-Con, and you just want to replace one, not both of them.
Yeah. It's funny because like controllers have always been expensive, like as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
I even want to say back like in the PS2, GameCube days, and Xbox days. I remember like I think I had to get an additional Xbox controller, and granted this is back in like 2001, 2002, and I think the Xbox controller they were like $50 to $60 as well, which is insane,
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And the
And
Joy
yeah,
doesn't.
I'm always caught in that struggle too.
Yeah.
I always want at least like 4 controllers for all my consoles.
Yeah, especially when you have like friends come over. It's like, oh, I hate sharing controllers, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, I agree. That's pretty awesome. I mean, it is cause it's almost comical like how long Nintendo took to address the Joy-Con drift issue, because I think it was pretty like notorious, like I think ever since like the 1 year anniversary, of the Switch, and it was like so like sadly inconvenient because that's when like the warranties were starting to expire, and people were just like they're just out of luck.
True. Yeah. Oh well. Um, and then also on Nintendo's end, they announced. I don't know if you saw this, but it was like they're remaster, or they're not even doing anything. They're just localizing the first Fire Emblem game.
Yes, yeah, I heard about that. It's going to be on the Nintendo Switch Online, I believe, or just maybe like for download, I guess, on the eShop.
Yeah,
And
and
of limited, I'm sure I'm taking the words out of your mouth, and I apologize. Were you going to say how it's a limited time purchase?
that's correct.
If anybody from Nintendo is listening, which they should be because this is the number one video game podcast ever,
Yes.
why do you guys do limited purchases? Like limited time purchasing or purchasing windows, I guess. Like I guess the very first example that we've ever really heard of this was when you released Mario All-Stars, and I swear, like, don't you want people to keep buying this game forever? Or at least for the next so many years? If there is ever, like, and maybe even if some of the listeners are smarter than us and they know the answer, but, like, if there's, like, a marketing technique that's that's what this whole, like, 6-month window is or whatever, like, please explain it to me, and please explain what the benefits are. Because I have a feeling, like, once they announce that the Fire Emblem game, which, I'm sure a lot of people will want to at least take a look at this game and finally play a localized version of it. What if, like, they're a month too late? You're just losing out on potential buyers, I don't know.
My favorite meme of this news has been the "Hi Mario, hi Marth. Oh, I'm not feeling so good." As March 31st, 2021 rolls around, and they both vanish.
That's
Yeah,
pretty funny. Sad
yeah,
but true.
yeah. I don't get it. I think it's just a new marketing scheme to make artificial inflation. Like they want people to buy their items right away.
Yeah. The one theory I had is that, and it's even odder for something like the Fire Emblem game because that's not going to have a physical release. But like, take for example the 3D Mario.
I think it is, isn't it?
Oh, is it a physical release?
It's just a special edition physical release. So it's like I don't know how much it costs, but it's not a standard priced game, and it comes with like I think like a fake cartridge of the game.
Oh,
It comes with like
cool.
an art book and then probably like a soundtrack or something. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, even so, like even that I can kind of understand. Like, yeah, and then in that point I would totally agree. This is like a special item, limited time offer, and then like obviously when they sell out, yeah, and then when they sell out, yeah, that does cause inflation. But then they're also not going to have the game available. Please correct me if I'm wrong. After a certain amount of time, the game will not be available for purchase on the eShop.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
as long as you have it downloaded on your system, you can play it though.
Oh well, yeah, absolutely. It's like once you have it, it's yours. But I mean, like when that date comes up, you're not allowed to buy. Like they won't have the game for sale anymore.
Yeah, it's like a timer.
Yeah, and that's where I feel like that's where I feel okay. Like sure, the limited time offer physical release can be like a collectible thing. I can kind of understand that, but the fact that you won't even let the game be purchasable via the eShop is just, to me, that's just lost potential, and that's just a loss of money. Even the Mario thing, like, because I was even thinking that the physical release for the Mario game would become like, the highly inflated, like, scalper price game, but you could always just buy the game online, like, digitally on the eShop. But then I just don't understand what is, like you said, like the marketing scheme, like what is the purpose of this? And the only theory I can possibly think of is for immediate sales.
I don't know, man. To put money in the pockets of the scalpers.
Yeah, but I mean, even for like the online stuff, I think the only logical thing is it's just to like get like quick sales because everyone panics and says, "Oh, I better buy the game now." Like I don't know if they're doing this just to bump their numbers like before a certain part of the fiscal year. Like,
it has to be.
It's weird. Anyway.
Yeah, it is very odd. And then also Nintendo related, they had another patch come out for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they made some adjustments to Well, they didn't actually like balance anyone. They just fixed a lot of glitches with Steve. I guess like with his blocks and some interactions with moves and his attacks, there were a lot of glitches that were like really breaking the game. I didn't know about all these glitches. But yeah, it was mostly about that. But then the funny memeable part of this news is that one of Steve's like victory animations was him holding a pork chop, and it was in a suggestive way that it almost looked like his pork chop, if you catch my drift. So Nintendo just balanced that right out. So now when Steve wins, he's not holding anything.
That's actually hysterical.
Yeah, and you can go look up the original picture. It just looked suggestive, excuse me. That's all though.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other news stories. I can't really remember all of them. I don't think there was anything too announcements. I thought the Nintendo news was the Fire Emblem thing was out of nowhere. That was fascinating to me. Yeah, I think maybe we could just roll into what we've been watching and playing.
Sure. Kind of feel bad because I know this is a bit of a shorter podcast episode, but you know we're doing the best with what we have given the technical difficulties.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So don't worry, guys. We'll be back to normality pretty soon. But I think this part will be pretty fun because I definitely have a lot to talk about. Do you want to start off, Corey?
I can start off, sure.
Okay. What did you watch and play?
So first of all, with what I've been watching, in terms of anime, I know I'm missing their anime fix. They've been slapping their veins, you know. Well, I'm here, don't worry. And I just want to let y'all know that I finished Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh.
And as many people told me, you know, this show gets really wild. It's a roller coaster. Just be ready for that. And I'm like, all right, I am. And yeah, I experienced that moment. And it is close to the end of the series, in between there too. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff that happens at the end. Go figure, you know, that's how shows do it. But what was there was great. I really enjoyed the ending. It was very interesting. I don't want to say too much about it because I'm sure a lot of people want to watch that series at some point. But I just want to say that I really enjoyed it. And I want to pursue more Evangelion things. There's like a bunch of other movies after this one, and it's just all canon. Like it's all canonical. So you just have to watch everything. And I'm like, all right, I'm there for it. I'll start doing that. And some of the movies are kind of short. Like some of them are only an hour, and then I think some get like to an hour and a half, 2 hours, more like a movie. But from what I understand, they're just like beautiful. Like the animation got better, and they are all good. So I'm interested to look at that in the future. Awesome. I liked Evangelion. It was really good.
Awesome. I mean, I might just chime in and say that I have heard good things about the show from you and from other people, but I've also heard the dichotomy of the show and the ending, and also how apparently people say that although you said you enjoyed the ending, that's awesome, but I know a lot of people tell me that the ending's very confusing and they don't understand what's going on and it's very open-ended. But then people say that the movies are actually meant to be watched afterwards and they answer everything. But then I've also heard people say that when they watch these movies, it's even more confusing. So I'm really curious to see what your opinion is on the movies.
I have heard all that, and I am aboard. I'm ready to go. You know, one of my favorite series is Kingdom Hearts, which is very confusing, so I'm all down for
That's true.
Something where you have to take multiple notes. You know, there's like a dedicated bookshelf with, you know, Kingdom Hearts lore. I guess I get a second one for Evangelion. And I definitely see that about the ending. I don't want to go too much in depth, but what I watched, it was very weird, but I also had my speculation. And one of my buddies, he was like talking to me while I was watching it, and he kind of like explained what the ending was immediately. just to kind of clarify some what I can expect in the other movies. It wasn't really a spoiler, but what he told me is kind of what I expect or how I interpreted it anyways. So I got it, I guess.
Okay.
But I've said too much. I'm not going to talk anymore about
La
Evangelion.
la
I
la
don't
la
want to
la la la. I'm blocking my ears.
don't want to don't want to ruin it for anyone. It was great. But since right now I don't usually binge like everything right away. So I'll go back to watch more of these Evangelion movies later. So I'm gonna watch some other things in between there. Like for example, I restarted watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh.
I'm on the fourth part, which is called, I believe, Diamond is Unbreakable or something like that. And this one's interesting. So something that's cool about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is it literally follows the bloodline of this family, the Joe Stars, and all of them have some sort of name that starts with Joe, which is how they're all called, like referred to as nicknamed JoJo. So this, and then it's set like during different year periods. Like the first one's set like kind of a little bit further back, and then like one is set in like the 80s, and this season I'm watching is set in like the 90s, so it's almost like generation to generation them fighting whatever the new big bad villain is. And it's all fun, like all the characters are really have big like personalities going on, and they're all very expressive, and the world looks really good. I'm liking the colors of this season. It's very like yellow and neon colory. It's got something that JoJo does is every outro is like just a US like song. So, for example, one of the most popular ones is Roundabout. That song. That's just the outro. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I'm trying to think of it. Roundabout?
I think it's just called Roundabout, yeah. I forget what the actual band is called. That's the name of the song.
Looking right now.
Another one they did is they did Walk Like an Egyptian.
That one I know.
Yeah, they just do like songs like that.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm really enjoying JoJo. That show is great. I love that show.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then in terms of movies, I did continue to watch some more great horror movies. I mean, honestly, I also forgot about this one. This one's not horror, but it was very interesting and quite humorous. So I don't mean to get political here, but I watched Borat's subsequent movie film.
Ho ho ho! I will say
the Borat sequel. I watched it.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list because I did watch the original a long time ago. So I am looking forward to this, and I heard a lot of good things about it. So please, Corey, indulge me.
So yes, this is the second Borat movie. This just came out. It was so weird. Like me and my girlfriend, she just pulled it up on Amazon Prime. Also, I have Prime now. I didn't realize that, but she pulled it up and it was like, Thursday evening, and she just started playing it, and we didn't even realize that the movie like just came out, or I guess it dropped early because it's supposed to come out this Friday. This is a new movie too, by the way. This just came out. But yeah, anyways, she just put it on, and we're just like, oh, okay. So we just started watching. I'm like, sure, whatever. And I'll tell you the story about my Borat. I only watched the first movie once on Comedy Central years ago, so I saw it edited, of course. But I thought it was funny. I always did want to go back and watch the unedited version of the original Borat, because I'm sure I would like that a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty raunchy, but funny.
But I don't really have that much of a relationship of it, and immediately heard when this was coming out, like, was very excited and wanted to watch it right away. But I was like, oh my god, what's the name of the guy, the comedian who does
Baron
that?
Cohen.
Sacha Baron Cohen, there we go. Yeah, I like his humor and stuff, so I'm like, I'll watch this, I'm sure. And of course, I won't give too much away because the movie just came out, but basically the whole plot of the movie is Borat, like, he wants to go back to United States, and I forget exactly why. I think he wants to get an interview with, like, Donald Trump or, like, what's his name? Mike Pence. I think he wants to get an interview with one of them. I think Mike Pence.
Interesting.
And when he's going over there, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, it's revealed that Borat has like I think like 2 or 3 sons, but then he also has a daughter, and like his daughter kind of like sneaks on the plane that he goes on, and they basically just have like wacky adventures in the United States, you know, and they're like get an interview with Mike Pence or like meet Mike Pence or something like that, and that's like related to the movie. Like I think Borat wants to essentially give his daughter to Mike Pence as like a gift or something like that, you know, something horrible like that. I think is the main get. But yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, there's like a gag that I really enjoyed. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give away any of the gags. But like I said, it's very political, so hopefully that doesn't offend anyone. I enjoyed it. I don't really lean one way or the other. But yeah, it was just taking a look at like America's culture over this whole year and kind of like mocking it, making fun of it. There are some bits during the coronavirus, which is kind of interesting. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's quite funny and wild. It was a wild ride where it ends up leading, especially with how it's kind of like playing out after the movie came out. Hello, did I lose you?
Oh no, I'm sorry. Here I am. I was just putting something away. Sorry. It's funny because like when someone mentioned that part of the movie does take place like right during the coronavirus, and it's like almost like hilarious like that he actually did this during the coronavirus, mainly to, as you said, to like to kind of like not exploit but show just how people how Americans especially have been reacting. Yeah, as you said, over the past year, given all that's happened in the glorious year of our Lord 2020. So, man, I do want to sit down and watch that movie at one point.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was very funny. Next up, I mentioned, I believe a week or two ago, how me and Megan finally started watching the Friday the 13th movie series.
Yes.
And, I'll spoil it again. Sorry if no one wants to hear it, but Friday the 13th, the first one, Jason's not in it. He's in one frame. He comes out of the lake. He grabs he grabs one of the teens, but she doesn't die. Friday the 13th, part 2. Again, gonna get a little spoilers here, but it's a pretty old movie. Jason's in it. He's in it, guys. Don't worry. The only thing is he is not yet in his full Friday the 13th attire. He does not have a hockey mask yet, or his like trench coat or whatever you call it. But he's got a little sack over his face with one eye hole. It's a little creepy. And he's got big Jason energy. He's using all sorts of different like household items, like your fire axe or your machete. Yeah. So he's getting there. Your pitchforks. He really likes the pitchfork.
The golf clubs and the spoons. All those
and
household things.
Yeah. And of course, Friday the 13th Part 2 is still just as great as the original. I really enjoyed this film. I enjoy the slasher genre. It's not necessarily creepy. It can sometimes be a little bit gory, but overall, I think they're very fun. And I like this movie quite a bit. It was good.
Cool.
Next up, this is also kind of a newer movie. Have you heard of the movie Hubie Halloween?
Yes, my brothers said they watched it, and I believe it's an Adam Sandler movie with Kevin,
that's correct.
Yeah, with Kevin James, and I think they said David Spade.
I actually don't remember if David Spade's in it. Steve Buscemi is in it.
Okay, I know it was definitely Kevin James. Maybe it was Steve, and I thought it was David Spade. Never mind. But anyway, what did you think of it?
This also is kind of recent. I think it came out like in the beginning of October, in the middle of October. But I thought it was very funny. So basically the plot is it follows this character, Hubie. I forget his last name now. It's blanking on me. But that's like Adam Sandler's character. And he's kind of like this neighborhood like watchman, where he's like... me and my girlfriend defined him as a narc. Like he follows the rules very seriously. So he enforces like jaywalking, he enforces like the outfits you need to wear, or like just very minor things that everyone's like, dude, why are you like, who complains about this thing? And there's always scenes where people are like throwing things at him, and they get very cartoonish with like, watermelons and bricks and stuff like that.
Ah, classic.
Yeah. But like essentially it's just kind of following Hubie's life, and he's kind of got like, it's got a lot of like slapstick humor. So it's like, him falling or something like hitting him or something like that. But it's kind of like Halloween's like his favorite season, and he lives with his mom. I forgot to mention that. And he's kind of just like going around patrolling and kind of getting into wacky Halloween adventures. Like Steve Buscemi's character is like this man who just moved in next door, and for some reason this man is putting up boards over all his windows and acting real funny. And then there's some other characters in there. There's like this creepy like pumpkin thing that kind of like hovers around and snatches people. And then there's like this escape to mental institute, and you kind of don't know what's up with that for most of the movie. So then it's Hubie who's trying to deal with them all, and Hubie is just like a slapstick Adam Sandler character.
Interesting.
It's great. It's really funny. I enjoyed it.
Cool. I'll have to take a look at that. I saw it on my TV, and I just never gotten a chance to watch it yet. It's funny because both my brothers watched it. One loved it, the other hated it. So it's like,
I could see that. Yeah. It's definitely a love or hate movie.
Yeah. So
also, there's a lot of fun like cameo characters.
And that's like the best thing that I love about the Adam Sandler movies, because admittedly, ever since like the mid 2000s, he started doing like his own movies, and the Happy Madison movies, but then they slowly started losing their potential, I guess. Like the last good one that I remember watching was The Longest Yard, the remake of that movie, and I really enjoyed that movie. And then but then a couple of other ones were just like, I think we talked about like the Zohan movie I really didn't like, and many other ones. But when they do movies like Grown Ups, which basically that's just like cameo the movie, they have
pretty much, yeah.
So I do enjoy seeing all of like these classic characters, like all of the guys are in his movies, like over like the last 20 some odd years. I think that's cool. So I'm guessing is that what you're referring to, like just the cameos from all the people from his previous movies? And
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I'm sorry. And I heard it's even like not just the actors, but the characters that they play are in this movie too. Right?
Yeah, kinda.
That's cool. Very cool.
So yeah, I enjoyed that movie. Hubie Halloween is what it's called. I think it's only on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix exclusive. And then I also watched the movie Us. So this was like Jordan Peele's follow-up horror movie. He made Get Out, I think in like 2017, 2016.
Yeah, he made a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. And I really liked Get Out. I thought it was really well done. So me and my girlfriend for a while now have been meaning to watch Us, and we kind of just been putting it off. And, it's a horror-themed movie, so we're like, oh, what better time than the Halloween month? Also, I realize it's technically, I guess, our Halloween episode, and we have, like, nothing planned, but that's okay. Anyways, though, Us. I also really enjoyed this movie. This movie, it's really hard to talk about. It's one of those movies where you kind of just have to watch it, because, like, most of the movie kind of, like, spoils the whole movie, I guess. I would say I didn't enjoy it as much as Get Out, but I thought it was pretty good, and I thought it was personally a little bit more creepier than Get Out. I just kind of liked maybe Get Out's premise a little bit more. I thought like the whole cast was really good in Us. It kind of follows this like family, like a mom, a dad, and a sister and a brother, and I thought that all those actors like played their roles very well. Basically, for like the spoiler-free-ish plot, it's like this family goes to this is going on this vacation, and when the mom was very young, she went in this like museum or this mirror maze, and she ended up like seeing basically a reflection of herself, but it was real. in one of the mirrors. Like, it wasn't a mirror, it was just she was there, like a clone of her, essentially. And that, like, traumatized her a lot. So she's very afraid to go back to this, like, beach where it all happened. And again, I won't give anything away. Basically, something does happen. I'm sure you could figure it out, but like I said, it's really good. I enjoyed the overall like plot of this. I thought the acting was really well. It was pretty creepy and kind of interesting. I feel like they maybe could have explained a little bit more. I personally would have liked that better, but overall, I enjoyed this movie too. I thought it was very well done.
Cool. Yeah, I actually want to get and take a look at more of Jordan Peele's movies because like randomly he just started making a bunch of horror movies, but I hear they're pretty interesting. So I'll definitely have to put them on my to-do list.
Yeah, I recommend them. They're great. I also really want to watch his. He's doing the Twilight Zone remake series on CBS All Access.
Oh.
But that's just another streaming service that I probably don't need to own. But yeah, I actually really like the Twilight Zone, so I'd be excited to watch that.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Other than that, though, I didn't watch any more movies or shows, really, but I did want to shout out that me and my girlfriend have been going through all of Bo Burnham's stand-up specials. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, Mike, but he's like a comedian who kind of does like these almost like musical type jokes. His like specials are almost like shows. Like there's a lot of visual elements to them, but they're quite funny. They all hold up.
I want to say I've heard of the guy. I can't say I've seen any of his skits or stand-up.
We're gonna say something, Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I want to say I've heard of the guy, but I can't say I have seen his stand-up or anything, or seen these skits or shows that he does.
Yeah, they're kind of like skits almost. Very like musical focused though.
Interesting.
But yeah, they're funny. They're very funny. He hasn't made one in a while too. The last one came out in, I think 2017 or 2015. So yeah, that was fun.
Cool.
Other than that, as in terms of games I've been playing this week, I've been playing a lot of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate still as like my mainly multiplayer game. Having a lot of fun with that. I've been rocking the Rob for a lot of times. I just kind of been wanting to improve my Rob, I guess. I have 3 different characters that I am like really good at. I think that just kind of adds like for the diversity, especially in a game like Smash where there's like 90 characters. You can't just always play one character every game or every match the same.
I'll play as Samus every match. Thank you.
Okay. Well, never mind. I stand corrected.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to win, but I'm going to play as Samus every single time.
But that's been fun. I've been considering trying online tournaments because I've been watching more of them on Twitch, and they look like they go okay. And, I think that could be a lot of fun if it works, because if I essentially do well, I can, make money off of winning, which would be fun. So, I don't know. I might try out online tournaments and focus more on, like, Link and getting better as Link. Who knows? Just something I've been considering. Other than that, I played some more Genshin Impact. That's that like Breath of the Wild MMO type game.
Oh yeah, I
and
remember that.
And that's been going good. Still just exploring the big open world area. I made it to an area to the west, which looks more like Asian style. Like there are a bunch of like temples and dojos, which were cool. There was a lot more like water, like the lands were like little islands almost, which seemed pretty neat. But it wasn't at an ocean; it was more like a lake with like little islands. But it kind of almost looked like the art style changed a little bit, or like the color palette changed a little bit, So that seemed really cool. As I've been playing, I've also been leveling up my overall like adventurer rank, which unlocks like a couple new things every once in a while. So I've been able to like upgrade my characters now, like their overall level. I can actually do some more of the like raid type content stuff. So I'm excited to do that. That's kind of just become my like game I play like every day, like just a little bit, Like the gameplay isn't very complex. The only thing that really changes is your different characters, you get like different special abilities, and then the weapon is like one of 5. So it's not really like a very like the combat's a little button mashy. It's not that in depth or that you have to think about it a lot, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and I also still like just exploring the areas, and just seeing how the main like story quest goes on, because I haven't hit a wall yet where I have to stop playing the single player, even though it's a free to play game. But I can definitely see the free to play aspects starting to come out. Some of the bosses or enemies I've been running into are starting to get a little like bullet spongy, or it's taking longer than it should. I've also been partaking in their version of loot boxes, which are, I believe, wishes, and it's kind of like you wish on this like star fragment, and it shoots up in the sky, and then it crashes down, and the meteor color depends on the rarity of the items. So there's blue, there's purple, and there's like I think gold, and gold is what you want. Blue or purple is more like a rare, and blue is like your common. And I haven't spent any money. I've just used the free ones that I got in the game. I currently have no desire to spend any money on the game at this point. I am enjoying it though. I'm still very much enjoying it.
Cool. I mean,
and then, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, just be careful of those loot boxes, man. Don't get sucked into those.
The thing you're rolling for, I didn't mention, is you get different characters, like I said, that have different abilities, and also your weapons, because your weapon drops are pretty rare. So if you want to get like some of the best weapons, you would go through the boxes. And like I said, like what I have right now, I'm still cutting it with. It would probably get to the point where I can't like deal enough damage to an enemy or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And usually by that point, I would stop playing, because I have played some other free-to-play games that are kind of like that. And then last but not least, I did also start a brand new game, considering last week or whenever I mentioned I completed Dead Rising 2.
Oh.
I started another Capcom zombie game, also the sequel, Resident Evil 2. The new remake that came out like a year or two ago.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I've never... Oh, go ahead.
I was saying, I've heard very good things about the remake, because it basically has the Resident Evil 4 format, behind the shoulder and stuff. So
yes. Cool. Yeah, so I've never actually played the original Resident Evil 2, so this is like my fresh take on it. But yes, it's very fun. It's like a third-person shooter, basically. But I'd actually describe a lot of it almost like a Metroidvania type thing. You aren't getting necessarily different powers. I mean, you could maybe look at it that way, with getting different guns and getting more like ammo for them, or getting, your inventory upgrades. But you kind of go from like one side of this police station to another, or you enter into different areas. Like there's different segmented parts of the maps, which are kind of like a Metroidvania, where it's like, okay, you have the sewers, you have the police station, you have the labs and stuff like that, and you kind of can freely explore all of them. And sometimes you'll find a key, and you're like, oh, this key opens up the door all the way on the other side of the map, and then you get maybe a map in there, or a hint to like another room. And it does such a good job, like just leading you into different areas and exploring and making you want to keep going and trying to get in every room. Like every time you run up to a locked door, you just want to know like how to open that door and what's in that room. But for those of you who don't know a lot about the Resident Evil series, it is like a zombie horror survival game.
Mm-hmm.
This one, being a remake, is not really holding your hand. It is kind of a hard game, Obviously, they changed the style of the game. It's more like a modern third-person shooter, whereas the first game, it was more of like a tank controls, like slower-paced game. But it still is very hard. It's a lot about resource management. You have to make sure you don't use all your bullets and don't even miss any of your shots. You want to make every shot count. Same with your health items. You collect like these plants, and you can combine them and make stronger medicine, essentially. So you want to make sure you're healing when you need to. And depending on the mode you play, you can also affect like how many times you save. Like you get items for when you need to save. But it's great. It's really fun. I'm really digging the story in there. Something that's also really cool about this game is that there's multiple different playthroughs of the same game as different characters.
Yeah.
So when I started the game, I actually played as Claire because I believe that's the way you're supposed to play. And I actually did beat all of Claire's first playthrough. And when I was done beating it, I remembered, oh yeah, there are second cases, I think is what they're called, which are a different playthrough of the same character, but like some things are slightly different, you know? So both characters already have like a second playthrough built in. So there is a lot of gameplay in here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, after you run through each of the areas a certain amount of times, because depending on if you play as Claire or Leon, you're still going through the police station, you're going through the sewers and stuff like that. You learn your way around the areas, and you can get through them quicker because now you're not afraid, or you know where things are, essentially. So, for me, I've started my second playthrough as Leon, and at this point now, it's kind of almost like a speed run. Like, I'm like, all right, I have to go to this end of the map to get this thing, and I gotta get that bullets here, you know, and I don't need to kill this zombie. I can kind of scuttle past this zombie and get. And then you learn quickly, like, oh, it takes like at least 6 headshots to kill a zombie, or it takes 1 shotgun headshot to kill a zombie. Like you're kind of resource management. Like you need to know when to use what things. It's a masterpiece of a game. I love it. I also love the new like remake. Like the RE engine looks fantastic. All the characters look great.
Mm-hmm.
The gore is impressive. The atmosphere of the game is so awesome. I feel like I'm walking through like one of the haunted houses that I went to like in previous years that I wasn't able to do. It looks great on my 4K TV. I'm just in love with this game. It's really great. One thing I do want to say is, I mean, this isn't a negative, but I am playing on my second playthrough as Leon on a harder difficulty, and it is very difficult. I have limited amounts of saves. And the game, like, the zombies are stronger, too. You get less resources. It's tough. It's tough, man. I mean, this is all just optional Well, the playthroughs aren't optional, but I can lower the difficulty if I want, but I want to beat it on the hardcore difficulty, as it's called. But it is tough. It's tricky. I literally was stuck on one of the bosses for about, like, 1 or 2 hours. I thought I couldn't kill him with the amount of bullets I have, but luckily I was able to do it somehow. But that game's great. I really love that game. I've been really enjoying Resident Evil 2. And that's pretty much been my week.
That's awesome. I kind of want to chime in and just say, like, I remember the old Resident Evil games. Yeah, they had, like, items. Like, I think it was, like, typewriter pieces or something like that for...
Typewriter ribbons.
Ribbons, yes. So I'm shocked that they actually included that in this game, too. That definitely makes it harder, because, yeah, it's when saving is like a resource, that's when you know this is pretty intense.
well, let me be clear that is only in the hardcore mode. That is not in the standard mode.
I see.
So in it shows you how many times you save, and in my initial playthrough, I saved like maybe 30 or 40 times. But yeah, with the ink ribbons, you really have to be like, okay, well, I should probably wait until I save next because I only have like one of these left, or you know. It is an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, definitely challenging.
But yeah, that game's great. I really enjoy it. I am very excited to just continue down the Resident Evil pantheon because, you know, they made I think it came out this year, Resident Evil 3 remake. And then I've never played Resident Evil 4, so I'm very excited to give that one a try.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, you'll love Resident Evil 4.
Yeah. And I would like to even go back to the first Resident Evil because I played a little bit of that one, and that remake is done how the old Resident Evil games play. You know, it's like the fixed camera where you kind of control your character, and I don't hate that. I did enjoy Resident Evil, the first one. I just would like to go back to it. Those games are also very challenging.
Oh, yeah.
Not only with the controls, but with, like, you know, resource management, and just like, yeah, they are awkward with the controls, honestly.
Yeah, the tag controls are not preferable to me, especially. I do remember the very first Resident Evil 1, like, on the PS1, like, not only was it just, the tag controls are kind of, like, you know, annoying, but honestly, that game I thought was really challenging. Like, the puzzles are actually pretty annoying.
Yes.
The visuals, I get it. It's a PS1 game, and the game still did kind of creep me out, but, like, man, that game was just, to me, the original is a game that it did not age very well. But I will say that yes, the
I
remake.
can see that.
Yeah, but the remake is actually done incredibly well, and I have to say, for a generation, for a Generation 6 game, that game looks gorgeous. It really does. Like,
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
yeah. It's a GameCube, PS2, Xbox era release. That game is incredible, and the remake definitely did a much better job. I think it makes the game much more playable, and it definitely makes it creepier because of the better graphics and everything. Like the atmosphere, as you said, in these games can be done so well, and it makes you feel like you actually are in a haunted house.
Yeah. And they do, a great job with the lighting. Like you have your flashlight in these like really dark hallways.
Yeah.
That's great, man. Yeah. And I also wanted to add too, like I love the puzzle elements in the game. There are still a lot of puzzles in Resident Evil 2, and it's great.
Oh yeah. I actually haven't played Resident Evil 2 myself, so maybe someday.
Well, what have you been playing, Mike?
Well, Corey, let me tell you. Let me start off by saying what I've watched because it's not too much, but it's pretty interesting. So back to TV shows. I am up to the very last episode of season 2 for The Boys, and
Oh.
my goodness, this show is pretty bonkers. I know I said this. I know I said that last week, but yeah, this show's like the story. It definitely didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go. Like, I thought it was a much simpler story, but now it's getting a little bit more convoluted, but to the point where it's not like the movie's like unbelievable or things are far fetched. It's pretty cool. I mean, and just to kind of sum it up, so that way I'm not really spoiling too much. The very first season kind of just introduced you to this world where superheroes are real, kind of like as if Marvel and DC were real, and not only are these people saving people's lives, but they're like celebrities. They are known around the world as the superheroes that save everybody, and they're in movies and they have merchandise, all that stuff. And then season 2 basically starts off by saying, okay, well now super villains are appearing. And I know you might think, oh, that seems that seems a bit like predictable, but it's cool because obviously the term supervillain is used in the show, but they're kind of emphasizing, like, no, these are terrorists as far as the show goes. Like, these terrorists are appearing all over the world, and it's like, my God, these terrorists have superpowers, and because they are like, they're giving themselves like superhero names, so it's like, oh, they are like supervillains, like it's not like they're going up against just like some random guy named like Matt Smith who happens to be a bad guy. It's like, no, they're going up against like this guy who calls himself Diablo, and he's like a villain who can like shoot fire out of his arms, or something along those lines. I kind of just made that up, but that's kind of what the show starts off, and then the government is like now getting involved, where it's like, oh my God, there's super terrorists now, and that's pretty much like the main focus of season 2 so far. And the very last episode, again, I'm really looking forward to watching the very last episode because it's because the second to last episode, basically a lot of people get killed like randomly, like it's basically an episode where like you're kind of like seeing like this big important meeting between like political officials in this boardroom on how they're going to address this company that runs the superheroes and the arrival of the supervillains or the super terrorists, and then randomly a lot of people get killed, and we still don't know how it's happening. That's the best way I can say it without spoiling things. So, needless to say, I am really curious to see what's going to happen in the very last, in the season finale. And then, unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait a while because I don't think season 3 is starting yet, but I think it's starting fairly soon. So, I can't binge watch the show anymore. I have to watch it, episode by episode.
Weekly.
I know.
Yeah.
Like
was this 2000?
I know. Like, gosh. But yeah, the show is pretty awesome, and now that you have Amazon Prime, I would highly recommend, Corey, that you watch it too.
Yeah, I probably should do that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I promise you, you'll enjoy it.
I
But
think
yeah,
I would.
yeah. So that's The Boys. Um, I guess I haven't watched it yet, but I am rewatching some episodes of The Mandalorian because I want to get myself ready for
Right.
this Thursday. I think is when it starts. Yeah. Oh man,
Yeah.
I can't wait for this. I got my Mandalorian cereal, which yes, they do have the cereal now at Target. It's pretty delicious. It's kind
I
of like
saw that.
yeah, it's kind of like Lucky Charms and Kix put together. It's pretty good. And I got
It's made out of 100% Baby Yoda.
oh, so that's the crunchiness that I'm tasting. It must be the cartilage from his ears.
Something like that.
Those big green ears. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That's really the only show I watched. But then, as far as movies, we did finish watching the sequel to Maleficent. It's called Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and this is I think like a brand new story. And I mean, again, Disney aficionados, please comment below if I am incorrect, but I'm pretty sure this is like a completely original story, kind of delving more into like the backstory of Maleficent and introducing like an actual villain for Maleficent to go up against, and it's pretty interesting because and before you watch both these movies, most people think of Maleficent as the villain, like the evil witch, but
Right.
kind of like as I mentioned before, this goes more into her backstory and kind of shows that the story that we all know and love from the story Sleeping Beauty is technically like a story passed down by other people, but this is like the true story. And yeah, this is like a movie that really goes into like not only her origin but like her race, like because people kind of even me, I just thought, oh, she's just some evil witch, like a I don't know, I guess you can call her like a monster, or she's just some woman who happened to have a really weird like headdress that looks like horns. But we learned that no, like, and you kind of learn this in the first movie, like no, like she actually is. I think they're called a dark fae, which might as well be a dark fairy. So she's a fairy, but she does have like those are actual like horns that are on top of her head. She just wears like a headdress to cover it up. And so, but this movie kind of goes into like her race and how there are others just like her, and she basically has to. I don't want to spoil, but I basically want to say she basically confronts another monarch. I guess I can say I'm trying to be as vague as possible, but like there is like another kingdom, and she has to go up against this monarchy who fears her race and fears all magical creatures. And it was interesting, and I really enjoyed it. And the cool thing is, they do have some references to the old story, the original cartoon movie. Again, kind of making it seem like, oh, the story that we all know is like fabricated from bits and pieces of these first two movies. So it's kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, again, I'm trying not to go to too much detail because I don't want to spoil it, because I do say it is really cool. We were kind of watching it as like a Halloween movie because we thought, oh, this is supposed to be spoopy and scary, but no, it was just a little fantasy Disney movie. But yeah, I mean, Amanda and I really enjoyed it. I would highly.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. It actually is really like endearing. It kind of makes you really appreciate a character like Maleficent because again, it's kind of like you're learning her true self, not the evil witch that you hear about,
Right, yeah.
It's cool. And
awesome.
Yeah, and then the other movie we watched, and this is a Halloween movie. I'm laughing because Amanda does not like horror movies. I think I mentioned that last time. So when she says, I want to watch a Halloween movie, we can't watch scary movies. It has to be a Halloween-themed movie. And
okay.
I can't really think of. Maybe it's just me, but I really can't count. I can't count that many movies on my hand. Like there's Hocus Pocus, which we watched like 2 weeks ago. There's The Nightmare Before Christmas, and then there's Spookily the Square Pumpkin. And then
yep, that's all of them.
And then there's this movie. So Amanda and I did sit down and we watched a classic. We watched It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah. There's Halloween in that.
It's Halloween. There's pumpkins and there's candy and stuff. And I have to say,
Was she scared?
she was scared of the Great Pumpkin.
Oh no!
It's like that. It's like that movie Pumpkinhead, the horror movie, but the pumpkin monster.
Right?
Yeah, or like that pumpkin that you were talking about that like goes around and like, does things.
Spookly, yeah.
Yeah, spookly. Yeah. But yeah, I would say that this what can I say? It's a Charlie Brown movie, or a Peanuts movie. I don't want to say that it aged well, but it definitely did not age poorly. It's just a classic old animation. You can't actually when I go and rewatch it, I'm kind of shocked by the dialogue that they used, because I feel like if they made this show nowadays, if people would be like, "Oh, you can't say these words anymore," like if go back and watch this movie again, it's basically made for kids, but like if you go back and watch it, I was kind of like laughing because I'm like, maybe I'm just starting to sound like a millennial, but some of the words that I'm hearing and some of the sentences I'm using, like, believe me, it's not offending me, but I'm just thinking, like, you know what? There's going to be someone out there who's going to say, oh, you can't say that anymore. Like, oh, that's not politically correct. Oh, man. The only thing I think I ever really I actually did truly laugh at something, and I made Amanda laugh. Because one of the characters, I'm sure you all know, his name is Pigpen. Do you know Pigpen?
I do.
Yes. So Pigpen came up, and this is when all the kids are going to go Halloween, go trick-or-treating. He comes over in his little white cloak. I'm sure most people know this scene if you have seen this movie before. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what to tell you. But he comes over, and Pigpen, everywhere he goes, soot and dirt just fall off of him. He's just like a big walking bowl of mess. I don't know. And he says, oh, they'll never guess it's me under here. And then when the kids say, oh, hi, Pigpen, I'm glad you can make it. And he goes, oh, how'd you know it was me? I kind of, yelled out loud, because you're a stupid dirtball! and Amanda just like, Michael! And I'm like, what, he is? Like, who walks around like this? And I just got really passionate, where I'm like, dude, how can you walk around like that? You probably smell like crap, too. I'm going to hell.
Gross.
Kind of reminds
me. You should get him some deodorant.
I know. Kind of reminds me of many Yu-Gi-Oh players when you go to the regional and they just walk around.
Oh.
They walk around and you just know when you walk in their path of stench, it's pretty vile.
It's like I'm right back there.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's not enough deodorant in the world to save them.
Yep.
So that's all I kept thinking about when I saw Pigpen. But anyway, all joking aside, Amanda and I enjoyed it. Very nostalgic. It's the Charlie Brown movie with the Great Pumpkin. Spoiler alert: the Great Pumpkin didn't show up, and Linus was very, very upset. I'm not sure if I cut
What?
out. Oh, so they cut out?
What?
Sorry, let me start over. So, spoiler warning: the show was great, very classic and nostalgic, but yeah, the Great Pumpkin didn't show up, and Linus was very very, very sad.
No.
My presents, no.
You spoiled the movie. How am I supposed to watch it now?
Why? I said spoiler warning. You could have held your ears or said, no, don't.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Dang it.
There was nothing stopping you from saying, Mike, don't spoil it. But.
All right.
Anywho. So, what I've been playing. Unfortunately, I haven't really been playing anything new. I'm kind of just still trucking along. I actually wanted to practice playing some Halloween spoopy games, because I kind of want us to play some spoopy games just as kind of like a Halloween special for Level With Me. I think that'd be a fun idea. I think I might have spoiled before on Instagram that I might want to consider playing, or I should say attempting, Ghosts and Goblins, because I hate myself. And I don't know, maybe maybe a Castlevania game or two. Who knows? We'll see.
Ghosts and Goblins would be fun.
Yeah, it'll be a fun game because it's like, so obnoxiously hard that it'll just be funny watching me die and cry over and over again. Definitely.
Yeah, see what you get.
Yeah. In my experience, definitely one of the hardest. I have played it before. It is definitely one of the hardest games I've ever played.
It is very hard.
Yeah, one of the hardest ones I've ever played. Like, not just on the NES. Like, in general, it's just so impossible. But anyway, I have been playing more of the Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, and I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. But here's something. So, my first experience up until the first dungeon was great. I think I mentioned that last week, and how, you know, if you guys want to watch it, the episodes are available on YouTube. But heading to the next dungeon, or like, you know, the second area where the dungeon would be, my God, what a trek! It took forever, and I still haven't even found the dungeon yet. It's just it's taking much. Like, let's just say it's taken very long, almost to the point where it's like, my God, I'm getting kind of aggravated. Like, where is this next dungeon? And there was a lot of back and forth, like, and it's all my fault because I'm stupid. Because, like, when I was going to the first dungeon, admittedly, maybe it was a little bit easy. It was kind of, like, straightforward. Like, yeah, you just gotta go here. But then when I was going to the second dungeon, I kept going in circles because I couldn't get past. Like, once again, I couldn't get past an obstacle, and all it was I had to talk to this one NPC, and I swear to God, I could have sworn I talked to him already, and nothing happened. But then when I went back to him, he's like, "Oh, come this way," and then, "Oh, so here's where I have to go," and then I proceeded, and then there was another roadblock to get up. Basically, the next part that I have to climb this mountain, which is not Death Mountain, but it might as well be, and it was just weird. A couple little, like, obstacles here and there, and like me
Die Mountain.
Yeah, it's Life Mountain, not Death Mountain. But yeah, when I get these videos uploaded, you guys will see my. I actually had to edit a lot of it out because I was just going back and forth forever. But I'll try to make it funny when I cut it in and out. So,
Been there.
Yeah. But regardless of that, the game is still great. I love it so far, and I can't wait to keep playing it. And,
awesome, I'm glad to hear.
Yeah. And finally, in the spirit of Halloween and spoopiness, I went back and I did decide to play an old game that it truly is near and dear to my heart as one of the scariest games I've ever played, and that is Slender Man, or I guess I should say Slender the 8 Pages. Man.
Great.
That game still gets me every single time. I'm not sure if you have any experience playing Slender.
Oh, I've played Slender. It's been a while. It was actually when it like first came out. It was one of the first games I played when I was in college, believe it or not. But yeah, it was a lot of horrifying. I could never make it past like 2 or 3 pages. The thing that always got me is the jump scare, like just when it will show like Slender's face and it'll be like the static noise. Yeah. I hated that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just me because like whenever I would like watch people online play it, I always feel like I can see absolutely everything. When maybe their settings are just really bright and turned up, but man, like whenever I play it, I feel like it is just pitch black, and I honestly just can't see anything. As in, like, I can see like the particle effects. I can see like the mistiness of the woods. But man, I think a big part of it is even the sound too. Like, it's one thing to watch people play it and hear the sound effects, but when you actually play the game with headphones, the game, I have to. This is why I want to talk about it, because that game is obviously very simple. The graphics are nothing to write home about, but the sound direction is so good that it makes the game so atmospheric and so immersive, and that's why it's so scary.
I 100% agree with you.
Yep. Like, the visuals are okay enough to kind of get you in the mood and make you think, okay, I'm in the forest. That's why I can't see anything, because it's dark and scary. So I don't have to see like real textures on these trees and grass. It's all in the sound direction. The sound effects are just so good, and like just even like the sounds of like you walking through the or like stepping through the grass, and you hear the crunching of the grass and like the twigs and leaves. Man, it sucks you right in, and it terrifies me. So that was kind of fun again to play.
Yeah, that one's a very like basic game too. Like you could even just have your like fiance. Like it's so simple to get into.
It is, yeah, kind of like a game where you just here, try this game out. Tell me what you think, and then people get terrified and they think, oh, either they hate it or they love it. It's not like
also it is.
No, go ahead.
Everyone had that Slender reaction YouTube video. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, the game was like a phenomenon when it came out because of just how new it was and how good it was. But yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So, I guess we can move on to our final part of the podcast.
Yes, the questions. So, everyone, if you would like to send in a question to the Level With Me show by emailing us at levelwithmepodcast@gmail.com, which we don't have any new emails this week. Or you could go to the Instagram account. Middle of the day, usually at like noon. We'll put up a poll where you can ask questions, and if you send us in a question and we like it, we'll read it, and you'll get a shout out for your Instagram account. Do we have any questions?
Yes, we do. I'm happy to say that we have
from the Instagram account today, Mike.
Oh yes, I'm happy to say that we have 2 questions actually, and unfortunately.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, I know, stepping up in the world. So the first question comes from our very best fan, Mr. Owen Reese. We can't go on without this guy.
What a dedicated guy, that Owen.
Oh yes. Unfortunately,
yes, thank you, Owen.
Unfortunately, I think we've already answered this question. It was from a different fan of ours who asked this question. The question is, if you could play only one game for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I told Owen, obviously, thank him. I thanked him for his question, but I did warn him that I think we already answered this question. Corey, am I crazy? Did we already answer that question before?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah. I have no
problem. A few podcasts ago.
Yeah, I have no problem answering again for Owen. So, because Owen is such a good sport, and again, one of the best fans we have, I have no problem answering it again for him. Unfortunately, I don't remember what my exact answer was last time. So it might be different if you were to go back and listen to the other episode. I might have a different answer, but I think I said like a game like I think I mentioned Breath of the Wild as like an honorable mention, but it is such a good answer because the game is so replayable, and despite the fact that I love my old...
I think you might have said Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I think it's because I remember mentioning that like I much as I love the old 2D classic games, you can only replay those games so many times that it gets like a bit repetitive. But like a game like Breath of the Wild, it's like if you want to play it and beat it, it's going to take so long. So then even if like you were to go back and play a second or another playthrough of that game, it'll feel so different immediately, you know? So I think that's still a really safe answer because I love the game so much, like many people do. I would say Breath of the Wild because of just how replayable it is, and the amount and the amount of time that you get out of it. Like you definitely get your time and your money worth.
Yeah.
Would you also agree, or did you have a different answer?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I answered this, like Dark Souls.
Yes, I think I.
Yeah, because Dark Souls has like all the different, replayability. Like you can use different weapons and make different builds of your characters. You can pick like different paths to go.
That's right. Yep. Definitely a good answer.
It's kind of like open-ended when you begin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
But thank you, Owen, even though it was a question we answered before.
yeah. Owen, and I did tell Owen.
Owen Reese.
He's MVP. We just appreciate the fact that he is so dedicated. I'm going to send him flowers and chocolates.
MVP. Thank you, Owen.
And now our final question actually comes from a friend of the channel and a friend of the podcast. Mr. Abra from Abra Productions has a question for us.
Hey. Awesome.
Yes. And his question is, what RPG would you want to see in a live-action movie?
I'm sorry, Mike, can you repeat the question again?
Oh, of course. And Mr. Abra's question is, what RPG would we want to see in a live-action movie? Or I guess, like the live-action adaptation. Did I lose you again?
I heard you.
Okay. It's a good question. It's tough because live-action movies of games are... Good ones are very few and far between, Man.
Yeah.
Because, I want to say... Final Fantasy VII had, had the Advent Children movie. It wasn't live-action. Oh, I think my fiance just came home. But
that could be pretty cool if they did, a live-action Final Fantasy VII. I almost say that one... Maybe that's my answer. Because I feel like that one has, a really cool, style and personality going on with, the main cast and... everything in Midgar is pretty neat, A little bit of the outside world, maybe. I don't know. They could maybe blow it up like the game and have, different parts. I was originally going to say Kingdom Hearts, but I think that Kingdom Hearts would be better, as a cartoon, a Disney animated movie, not live action. Maybe even, Mass Effect? That's technically an RPG.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned Mass Effect. I think that'd be... Because that story is so big. I think that could definitely benefit.
Yeah, it'd be an adult rated Star Wars. Oh man, Discord is really not liking us today.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, but I heard you. Yeah, you mentioned it's a live, kind of like a live action. Oh, I'm sorry, my puppy's here. He's making sounds.
I was just on Instagram.
Gotcha. Anyway, so where did I leave off? Oh, we were talking about the Final Fantasy movie, or if that would be a live action movie.
Yeah, and Mass Effect as a live action
Mass Effect
RPG movie.
Yes, Mass Effect. I think that'd be a great one. It's just tough because these games have such.
That's my answer, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just tough because especially RPGs, they have such vast stories, big stories, and it's how can you condense that down into a 2-hour movie? Even if you were to turn it into a 3-movie trilogy, 2 hours a piece, it's even take for example Final Fantasy.
Exactly, yeah.
Take for example Final Fantasy. How can you turn that into a 6-hour long trilogy? Or even Mass Effect. That story is 3 games long. How do you make a movie out of that? So it's really, that's actually a really tough answer. You know what?
The answer is simply they make a bunch of different sequels. Make a bunch of movies. Yeah. Oh, what's your answer? Go ahead.
My answer would be I want to see Mario and the Legend of the Seven Stars. Or Super Mario RPG and the Legend of the Seven Stars. I want to see that movie live action.
That'd be great.
Live action. I want a live action Geno, a live action Bowser with all the lame makeup from I want a real live action Mario, a real live action Smithy. Alright, so not live action, but I guess as far as the movie goes, that's an RPG.
If there was a live action Super Mario and Legend of the Seven Stars, Danny DeVito has to play live action Geno.
Oh my god, yes. Please. Please do this for me.
So anyways, I started blasting.
Yeah. 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 What? Charlie, You gotta come down from the star.
Thank you, Abra, for the question. That was a good one.
Yeah. Yes, Abra, thank you very much. That's a good question, sir. I actually hope to have him back on the podcast again.
I would love that once my internet is working again.
Yeah, mine too. But I'm afraid after that, we are now complete.
I think it's time we bid him adieu, Mike.
Yes, I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
Everyone, thank you for listening. I'm sorry our podcast has been choppy. I blame the internet, and I blame politics, and I blame everything else.
I blame the goblins in my computer. I don't know how to defeat them.
I think you have to let them make your shoes or something. Then that'll calm them down.
I'll ask them. I don't know if they're gonna listen to me, but
Yeah, those little jerks. But anyway, yeah. So if you guys want to follow us individually, you can follow.
With that being said, I want to thank everyone for listening. Thank you for putting up with our internet shambles here. We'll get the podcast back up to how it normally goes very soon. If you want to follow me, I'm Gamebro Corey. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. A little quiet. Some of my Instagram really haven't been doing a lot, but just give me a follow. I post stuff on there from time to time. And of course, there's my Twitch, twitch.tv/Gamebro Corey. Again, because of my internet, with it, not my computer not working, I should say. I can't really stream. I'm looking forward to streaming again and having more of a schedule. And of course, you can also check out the Level With Me YouTube channel, where Mike has been doing a nice job putting out new videos. Once my PC is back to working, I also will continue to upload videos, notably for the Super Mario 6 as well as my Remnant from the Ashes and our Luigi's Mansion 3 Let's Plays. Mike, what do you got to plug?
Yeah, I'll just make it quick. If you guys want, you can follow me also on Instagram and YouTube at the Collector's Vault. If you guys, love video games, I love talking about that stuff. But the Collector's Vault's more for collectibles, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sports, anything collectible related. Especially Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh's on there. I make some pretty interesting videos talking about the card market and stuff. So if you guys are into that, please stop by. Again, that's the Collector's Vault at YouTube and Instagram. It's pretty easy to find me. We'll have both my information and Corey's information down below. And yes, please check out the Level With Me podcast YouTube. That's just Level With Me on YouTube. And I really can't wait for Corey to get back to uploading some more of his Let's Plays as well. They are pretty fun, and you guys will really enjoy them. But with all that said,
Thank you.
Yeah, Corey, any final words or thoughts?
It is the last week of Spooky Month. We've come a long way. I've watched many movies, and I will continue to do so. I hope you all have a very spoopy Halloween, whatever you're going to be doing. Stay safe out there, eat a lot of candy, or drink a lot of beer, or whatever you're going to drink. Have a good time, and eat a lot of meatball pizza.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to have some chocolate-covered meatball pizza. I hope I get that in my goodie bag when I go trick-or-treating.
Yeah, everyone come to the Level With Me podcast house. We're giving away full-sized meatball pizzas.
Yeah, I was going to say, forget the chocolate-covered stuff. I want the full-blown meatball pizza. Just buy the slice.
You guys better bring a big pumpkin. I don't know how you're going to fit a whole pizza in that little jack-o'-lantern,
Oh, you put your...
You might want to get a pickup truck or something.
Oh, wait, you put your candy and your meatball pizza in pumpkins? You don't put it in, like, a bag or anything?
No. What, do you use, like, a pillowcase?
I use a beat-up Target bag.
Do you use, like, Batman's decapitated head?
Yes. From time to time. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween! Ooh, ah.
Spoopy.
Alright, we out.